That's when he locked the pigs out. Then the pigs scream loud, get about this house now, or I'ma huff, I'ma puff, I'ma blow this house down.
Welcome back to Delightfully Dysfunctional Therapist Reacts, and today I've got a treat. Joyner Lucas' Three Little Pigs was unexpected, and it told a story in the form of a story. Like, he is such an epic weaver of meaning and symbolism, and I loved the way that it flowed, and I was a little bit nervous because the other reactions that I've done for Joyner stuff is a little bit like, trauma right in your face. This, although it carried a profound message, it was done with like fun whimsy and a childhood tale that we know, but with such a twist that brings everything home. So I really hope that you enjoy this. I'd love to know how this hit you. And for anyone, I'm not an African American. I'm not someone who comes from Black culture. So I'd love to know any of my lovely, delightful humans out there when it comes to your experience, if that's your background and your history, how does this resonate with you? I would love to hear that. Because me, as someone watching and listening who, yes, I'm a minority, my experience is still going to look so different, right? And is completely different to that of what he is capturing and sharing with us. So I love being able to learn from you and with you and to feel with you. And what a treat it is to be able to experience this wonderful artistry that is Joyner Lucas and Three Little Pigs. Thank you for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and share, and enjoy. All right, here we go.
Man, you're supposed to be asleep, right?
I'm having trouble falling asleep.
You having trouble falling asleep? How about Daddy reads you a bedtime story?
Yeah.
Want me to read you a bedtime story?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got just the perfect bedtime story for you. See this story right here? It's called The Three Little Pigs.
So they were three little pigs. They was all grown up, and they were drinking some hot coffee and eating donuts. It was a beautiful sunny day, some real perfect weather, and the pigs was dressed the same, cause they all work together, and that job ain't really easy, and they work is kinda scary, so they all got water guns. That's their favorite thing to carry, and they'll squirt you more than once if they think it's necessary, but we'll talk about that later. Let's get back to the story. Deep inside the forest was a family of wolves and a pack. Even though they had sharp teeth and they were black, ain't really mean that they'll attack. Just means that they were trapped because the color of their fur made some believe that they was bad. Now, I know that sounds sad, but ain't nobody care, cause the problem with the wolves is they were never treated fair, and no matter where they go, only one thing is clear, that as long as you're a wolf, the pig's gonna be scared. So the forest and the town.
This is so creative. This is so creative, and it took such a different turn than I was expecting from Joyner. I was already like, granted, things could change quickly. That's what I've learned about his music videos, but I was a little bit like on guard because everything I've watched from him starts with like, big trauma right away. And this is taking such a different whimsical route that I know is still talking about such deep issues of prejudice and racism, but so far I'm just like, oh, you've transported me, and I don't even know, like, it was so seamless. And that just opening scene with, I wonder, is that his actual kid? Does anyone know? Do some fact checking for me. Well, behind the scenes, okay, James, yeah. Figure out if that's his kid. I'll tune in. I'll check in with you in a moment. Okay. All right, here we go.
As long as you're a wolf, the pig's gonna be scared. So the forest and the town was separated, and if the wolves wanted to come around, they hesitated, cause they knew they wasn't welcome there. So every time they roamed, they always said a prayer in hopes that they could make it home. The night was getting cold and all the food was running low. And then right here is a picture of some pots on the stove, some empty cabinets, some old bread with the mold. Let me flip the page real quick. Then one of the wolves said they gon' drive up to the store, and so he hopped inside his car, and before he cranked.
Actually, I want to pause it right there for a second too, because that is speaking to like living in poverty and food insecurity, and like those scary parts. And it's actually so sweet because when it flips to the scenes where his son is there, he's like trying to, brush by the scary pieces like you would as a parent, like they got water guns, but we'll talk about that later. And like, here's these scenes of not having enough food, not having this and that, and still being able to carry the flow of the story with a profound impact. And I think that's, again, just a very artful balance that Joyner has. And I'm getting to see this like very different artistic expression from him. But all of that is tying back into the podcast episode that we recorded today about ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, and how poverty and food shortage is one of them, how racism and discrimination is... These are traumas that one experiences and affect your biology, your nervous system, the way that you behave socially. So I'm wondering if that might be woven into the story somehow as well.
Then one of the wolves said they gon' drive up to the store, and so he hopped inside his car. And before he cranked the key, put his seatbelt on and buckled up to be as safe can be. Followed every traffic rule on the way from A to Z, and then he went to... Man, let me skip to the good part. So after he bought some groceries and he was done for good, then he put the food inside his trunk as fast as he could. Then he started driving perfectly and headed towards the woods until he seen the pig's car and knew this probably wasn't good. The pigs on the prowl started speeding up and yelling loud, "Pull over right now." Turn the car off and throw the keys on the ground and step out and get on your knees and don't even make a sound. The wolf said, "Wow, how is this allowed? I got my license, registration, why you trying to take me down?" And he was real scared cause he knew what the pig's about. So he refused to get out and started speeding to his house. Then he pulled up, hopped out, almost fell down, but ran inside the front door. That's when he locked the pigs out. Then the pigs screamed loud, "Get up out this house now, or I'ma huff, I'ma puff, I'ma blow this house down." And now they got the house surrounded, pointing all they water guns, about to shoot some water rounds. Kicked the door down and all they heard was water sounds. That's what happens when the pigs fear you. So here's the moral of the story with a clear view. No matter who you're with, or where you're at, or where to, there's always gonna be 3 little pigs living near you.
Good night, buddy.
Wow, like for such a deeply profound interaction to be communicated in a cartoon like that is it just like it throws you for a loop, but in a it really sinks in differently, I guess. I mean, I'm understanding the storyline that he's telling, and it makes my heart ache because there's so much trauma embedded in that. And then I know so many parents who feel as though they need to warn their children in some way, and that's what this story is doing. Like, how do I keep my child safe and warn them, but without making them so fearful that they can't live within the world? And it's trying to play that delicate balance and in those roles, and you can see it. I mean, his acting skills too, they're on fire. And as I'm watching it again, it's like a cartoon, but the emotion is still so embedded, and my heart just broke. Like the water guns and like the scene and the picture and all of that, and the role reversal, of the 3 little pigs and the wolf, and here it's the 3 pigs huffing and puffing down the door of the wolf. I think that's a really creative and cool take on such a popular and well-known fable that everybody knows, and it's putting this unique twist that brings in this social aspect, this political aspect, this racial aspect. Okay, I'm not meaning to bring light to how profound and amazing this song was, but I wish my daughter would fall asleep that easily after one story. It's not happening for me, folks. It's not happening. Send help. I'm not getting sleep. Wow. That was so unexpected. I told James I was nervous. I'm nervous about this one. He comes with these songs with such a bang, and the ones that I've listened to and reacted to. And this took a very different twist, still sends that message so clearly. But this took a very creative and whimsical turn. And how can you bring such whimsy to something that is not whimsical? Feeling afraid for your life when you're going to get groceries isn't whimsical. Feeling like you have to always be on guard. That's not something that we think of in fairy tales and told in this cartoonish way. Again, I think it just highlights his ability to be so masterful in his storytelling. That's really what he is. He's a storyteller, and I love it. I really enjoy what he is putting out there and the conversations that it creates, because that's what this book does. And this story is creating a conversation about things that are deserve to be talked about, and maybe bringing it to the table in a way that kids can interact with it and talk about it. I'm not sure if the book was intended for children, but I'd be curious if I actually had it in front of me. I'll have to go check it out now. But to have a conversation with kids can be digested a little bit. Not easier, because this isn't an easy topic, but I think we can be traumatized by the news. We can be traumatized by the things that we see. We're not meant to know as humans every hardship and every heartbreak and every loss that is out there. Yet, as parents, we need to feel like we can prepare our children to be safe. This video took a different turn than a lot of the reactions that I've done, and I'd really love to know other people's thoughts and opinions and what your takeaways were, how this impacted you. If you come from that background, what do you recall? Did your family warn you? What were the things that you picked up on when you were young that maybe echo the sentiment that's being shared in this story, The Three Little Pigs? Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.